and that's because I don't think we're any, you know, just to say the first principle of political action, which I said earlier, is that the price of a successful action is a constructive alternative. And right now, we haven't got that alternative. So what we do, we're in a very defensive position, and we will get, so what's absolutely necessary is, I think what we've got to have is worker representation, 50% representation on the pension fund. Do something really bold like that, so the teachers have a say in how the money, at the moment the state has the pension and that's how it's invested. But we're not getting to that, you know, we're not at that point, and we've got to get to that point. So until we've got I think there's going to have to be in the next year and 2 years, really proper conversations with the unions about them becoming simultaneously more powerful and more responsible for what goes on. And so right now, I think that we're way off it, and I think that we've got about another 2 years to go before we have the kind of offer that we can make both to union members and to the public, and that will generate support.
Thanks. Are there any more teachers in the audience, by the way? That's it, right, okay. Andrew?
I think he should support the teachers and public sector workers because they are right. They are right. There's a massive misselling job going on in public sector pensions. The projections over the next 50 years are that spending on public sector pensions will start to fall rather than rise, and that has just not been sort of taken into the political debate at all. He does, however, have a big problem about being seen to be too close to the union. So there's the sort of merits of the individual issues, and then how does he seem to be a man of the left, of his party, and of the Labour movement, but also of the centre ground. And that is a very difficult political positioning, balancing act. He should support lawful industrial action if that's what's democratically decided. That doesn't mean he needs to personally be at the forefront of it.
Rebecca?
I thought that what Ed said on the MAR programme this morning was right. I don't know if you saw that when he was asked about this issue. And the point he was making then was to say, look, there is a serious problem about the way that the government is approaching public sector pensions, not just for teachers, but for a whole series of different public sector workers. They are preempting the Hartman report, not actually having a proper debate discussion about it, including the 3% levy that they imposed. And they are taking a very different approach from the work that Alan Johnson did while we were in government, which was all about actually, Alan managed to negotiate a whole series of changes which actually did substantially reduce the cost of public sector pensions for the taxpayer, but as part of a process of negotiation. So that is by far the best way forward. You have to recognise we're all living longer, and that does mean that changes have been made to public sector pensions in order to make sure that they are affordable for the taxpayer, for the country as a whole. So that is the right thing to do. We should do it in the right way, do it through negotiation. In terms of what you said about strikes was that, no, you didn't support the strike that happened earlier in the summer because it was premature, but at a time when negotiations were still continuing. However, actually, the government has got to get around the table and stop trying to provoke a strike, which is what's happening at the moment. It should always be a last resort. Of course, it's a legal thing that can be done in the right circumstances, but equally, right now, what everybody should be doing is trying to prevent a strike and to get an agreement, but it's the government that is currently making that a particularly hard thing to do.
Phil, it just struck me that perhaps the logic of your position when you talk about Ed Miliband being his own man might possibly suggest that you think he should support teachers' strikes.
Well, it would depend on what he thought. I don't think he should do it just because he would therefore be his own man if it's not what he thinks. I do broadly agree with the vet on this, both about the cause of the problem and also the prudent response of the Labour leader. I actually think Ed Miliband has played this well, and perhaps not very popularly within the Labour movement, but I think he deserves some credit for that. The political point, of course, is that he has behind him the nature of his victory last year, and like it or not, that is a political drag on him, and therefore he's in a very difficult position with respect to questions of union questions. I'm not one of those people who think that victory was at all illegitimate. The rules are the rules, and you win the victory, you can win, and good luck to it. But it is nonetheless, it's still a political question, it's difficult for him. Just one final point on pensions. I've never heard a more catastrophic performance by a senior politician than those by Justin Greening and Francis Moore on the question of pensions. Absolutely extraordinary that they didn't understand the nature of their own reforms. Quite incredible. But not all on, and in fact, they weren't even able to make their own case. Because actually, it's only after some of the reforms are made that the cost starts to fall. And it's only on quite optimistic assumptions about longevity that they start to fall. So actually there is a genuine issue about affordability, which any responsible government has to address. The fact that this government is doing it recklessly and without regard for negotiation is a fact which needs to be exposed, but I don't think it strikes the answer.
Very quick, someone to do a little exercise.